apprehensive about this ground, only because we've had two such poor performances in the last 3 games. We've got opportunities there on the bench, maybe for Benton Defoe.
That's right, John. We sat in Denmark, it seems like a lifetime ago now, full of enthusiasm for the year ahead and the World Cup at the end of it. And now all of a sudden we sit with England needing to win 2 games probably, and the nerves that surround that. Hopefully the players, they're the ones doing the business. They'll feel confident in their own ability, and hopefully we can pull out a performance.
Spanish referee Luis Medina and 2 Spanish assistants for this World Cup qualifier, the first of 2 in the next few days, winding up this group in which England have stumbled somewhat unexpectedly. And as Gary said, there is a scenario whereby they could be in the World Cup finals by tonight, but we won't be taking anything for granted. They've got to win this game first, and they're playing in the white shirts in the first half from right to left, and this is Joe Cole straight away, number 11. The right back who he's up against, Andreas Dober, is only 19. It's his first cap. It's a real testing debut for him, wearing number 2. Far side, England's number 2 is Luke Young, who equals a club record for Charlton Athletic today. It's his 5th cap, and that equals Chris Powell's total, the most capped England international when with Charlton. It's forward by Jamie Carragher, and it's Peter Crouch being dealt with there by Sharner, the number 4. England have the throw. Lampard, Gerrard is square, Beckham's out on the right. Young is the linking play. Oh, Beckham was brushed aside, but it's a foul.
I think he was slightly fortunate there, David Beckham, because I think he slipped more than was fouled, and that was a very dangerous position because Luke Young had overlapped him.
Yes, Ivanchik would have been away if the whistle hadn't gone there. Anyway, Beckham now looks for Crouch. That's going to be the diagonal ball, and it's come on to Joe Cole. Owen's making a run across the box now. Joe Cole with the flighted effort.
That's perfect by Peter Crouch. When David Beckham has the ball on the right-hand side of the pitch, it's crucial that Peter Crouch then pulls off to the far post and allows people like Joe Cole to run off in. There's a little flick on by Peter. Joe gets into a good position where you want him, cuts inside. And that's unfortunate. It's good defending by Dober.
Spooned up off him, didn't it? Yeah, number 2. Joe Cole, who has had 1 or 2 very good games for England on this ground. Here he is again. So Jamie Carragher going ahead of him in this attack. This is Lampard. Sol Campbell playing just to the left of John Terry. Austria with just the 1 man pushed up. The number 11, Weisenberger, will be the most advanced of the 5 midfielders, it seems.
Already you sense that Austria are content to let the England back four have the ball. They're getting 11 men behind the ball, with the furthest man forward being Lintz, and he's even just sitting on just in front of the halfway line.
Yes, I think that was the way we expected them to play. And it's up to England now to get the ball through those red-shirted players and service the 2 strikers. This is Campbell. Crouch is the target again. This is Schopp, number 7 for Austria, their most experienced international. Plays wide on the right. And Jürgen Macho, there was some debate about who the Austrians were going to play in goal. Up to the ex-Sunderland man who also had a brief spell with Chelsea, although I don't think he got in the first team, Graham.
No, I don't think he played.
This is Ibertsberger, the left back.
What England have to remember, John, early on is that if Austria do drop off, they shouldn't be frightened to play a longer ball from back to front. That's what Peter Crouch is there for. You don't have to go through midfield all the time, and they've become accustomed to that as international footballers.
Here's Cole. He's trying to pick him up Beckham there. In fact, he's trusted it back to Young. Gerrard, England without 2 first-choice fullbacks, of course. Gary Neville injured, Ashley Cole injured. So in their place we have Young and Carragher here. Crouch, Cole. Joe Cole seen plenty of the ball early on in this left-sided position. Lampard. Certainly dead right, aren't you? Austria have sent their stall out here. They're not going to take any chances, are they?
They're certainly not, but it shouldn't affect the way England set up. They should be playing direct, early football. I know we're only a couple of minutes into the game, but let's get the ball forward. Let's cause them some problems. Let's get into their box and see what Peter Crouch and Michael Owen can do.
It's a fairly enthusiastic start from the seats. 67,000 people inside Old Trafford. It'll be bigger than that shortly. You'll probably catch shots of Wayne Rooney, suspended of course today, sitting next to Smith there, and Phil Neville, one or two of the players not selected for the bench in there. This is Crouch. Gerrard is supporting him. Lampard just on his knees there in the centre circle for a moment. He's up again now. That's Dober. This is Aufhauser, and now number 8, Kiesenebner. To Ivanschitz. Weissenberger. Given away by Beckham. This is Kiesenebner again. Oh, and Schropp's coming in, and Jamie Carragher pushed him, did he? Well, Schropp thought he did. Went down, and there was some booing from the 2,000 Austrian fans at that end.
I think that's an example of a right-sided player playing on the left side. He's looking over his wrong shoulder effectively, and he was quite fortunate. The shot got wrong side of him, but Carragher did just enough with his experience to put him off getting on the end of the ball.
Marcus Schopp, 31, winning his 55th cap for Austria today. There's Cole. Forward ball by Young. He's trying to pick out Crouch, but he was beaten in the air by Schana, the number 4. They've got two tall centre-backs there, Schana and Stransley, so I don't know if they'll take it in turns to match Crouch, or if they're going to play man-for-man, Graham.
Well, it depends where Peter positions himself. Ultimately, what he has to do, he has to pull away from the ball so that Michael Owen's the nearest person to the ball, which means that you can afford to overhit it slightly then, and then Peter can maybe pick up some headers and link up with Michael in any forward midfield runner. But here, he keeps coming to the ball, you've got to get him away from the ball.
Certainly a subdued start by England. This is a shot for Austria. Kiesenebner across to Ibertsberger. Schana, who was linked at one time with Birmingham City, played against them pre-season, number 4. Austria won't mind this. It's been a very sort of quiet opening, isn't it?
It is. I mean, I've never known Old Trafford so quiet.
Anyway, can Owen liven things up here? No, he can't. This is Aufhauser. Kiesenebner again. To Schopp. Links linking up there. Saul Campbell's been penalised for that last challenge.
I don't know if it's me, John, but it's slightly surreal because I don't think there's been no urgency in the first sort of 8 minutes of the match, and it's all about how you start games. You're going to start games aggressively, start games with sit the stall out, as they say, and really get the crowd behind you and get going.
This is Ibertsberger getting going for Austria. The ball in is an easy one for the England goalkeeper, but I agree with you. There's sort of almost an unlikely silence around Old Trafford. Nothing to get the crowd going so far.
The situation there with Peter Crouch and Michael Owen are 3 against 2 at the back.
Here's Owen. He ran out.
Yeah, but that's all right, John. At least they've actually tried to attempt getting forward and in behind them.
Final score from Belfast in the other match in the group being played this afternoon. You may have seen some of it on BBC 2. It's Northern Ireland 2, Wales 3. An eventful match there. Wales were 2-0 up. Northern Ireland got back to 2-2, and Ryan Giggs, I think, got the winning goal. So it's a good result for John Toshak, that Wales' first win for a long time. Scotland 0, Belarus 1. That's bad news for Hampden Park. From Hampden Park, Scots need to win, of course, and hope that Norway lose. And in the meantime, the Austrian striker Linz has gone off the pitch because he's apparently lost a contact lens. So,
Contact lens.
Well, that's very appropriate. Here's Cole for England. They're playing against 10 men at the moment. Oh, it's going to run on to Beckham here from Owen. And that effort from Beckham is deflected, and it's going out for an England corner. And Linz is waiting to get back on the pitch for Austria. The fourth official hasn't signalled to the referee to let him back on, so England have a corner. Beckham will take it, and Terry and Campbell have come forward. Crouch is there, of course. Peter Crouch up in the ground. Oh, it's goalkeeper's out of his ground. It's been hooked away from nearly on the line. Macho committed himself and was way out. Defenders saved him. Here's Carragher. Linz, meantime, is back on the pitch. And here we have Lampard on the ball for England. John Terry had stayed forward there. This is Carragher. Beckham's on the left now. Young is over on the right. England have 5 men in the centre. Ball didn't come in early, though. This is Gerrard. Young up against Ibertsberger. He slipped there, didn't he?
He did. That's a great free corner by David Beckham. That's what they need to do when you've got Peter Crouch inside. Just float a ball onto his head. And it caused all sorts of problems, Austria.
Yes, he caused confusion in the near post area, Graham, and the goalkeeper made an error of judgment that he actually got away with, but the referee wants this retaken. Free kick. Beckham with the delivery. Here it is.
Yeah, you can see Peter there. He's using a bit of strength. It's a great flick on. The keeper is in no man's land, and it's our first real opportunity.
Owen, the man trying to finish it off, but the defender blocked it. Here's Campbell. So a foul by Shana on Crouch, a free kick to England. Which David Beckham will take charge of. Terry and Campbell on their way up again. Crouch, the referee spotted some nonsense going on in the penalty area. There was some pushing. Peter Crouch and the Austrian number 4, Shana, the man spoken to. So it all starts over again now. The jostling in there.
That's a decent enough ball in by David Beckham, but I think he's chosen the wrong option when you've got the likes of Campbell and Crouch up there. Again, it's an opportunity just to cause Austria some problems.
It was Young taking care of Linz, the man who was off for the adjustment to his lenses. Aufhauser. Ibertsberger. 2 waiting in the centre for Austria. Header out was by John Terry. Now Gerrard to Beckham. No, he's going to let Crouch take over. Oh, and that mistake sold Frank Lampard a bit short. It's been snapped up by Wiesenberger. This is Schopp up against Gerrard. But his clearance goes straight to Dover. And he's looking for Linz. And Terry with a flying header away.
That was a great ball in by Dover. Steven Gerrard did well. He collected the ball, but was stuck in the corner clearing with his left foot, only could reach Dover, and it was a wonderful ball in. John Terry did well to reach it and clear it.
Let's come back now to Kiesen-Ebner. There are 3 waiting. Kiesen-Ebner shoots, and Robinson had to react mighty quick to turn that away. What a good strike from the 26-year-old there.
That's an excellent strike by Kiesen-Ebner. And again, once again, England, they're falling into this trap of not closing people down on the edge of the box. These players will strike the ball from distance. They're not afraid to do that. And it results in a fantastic parry by Paul Robinson.
Stransel has come forward for this, number 3. Scharner is there as well, number 4. Oh, Robinson called into action again. 2 uneasy moments for England here as we come to the quarter of an hour mark. Headed back again by Dober. Now then, there's space because the right back's out of position, and this is Owen. 4 others making strides forward to join them for England. Now, have we lost the momentum here? It's Carragher. Beckham. Out to Young. Crouch now moves from one side of the penalty area to the other, making himself a target for Gerrard. Clear the defender though. Aufhauser. Well, I hope I'm wrong here, but I said I was apprehensive at the start, Graham, and England haven't done anything yet to make me feel any more comfortable.
Well, the signs aren't great, but hopefully people like Joe Cole on the ball.
And right now it's Crouch. Owen's in the centre, Beckham's further over. Oh, he didn't pick him out. Lampard to Young. It's early days yet though. Gerrard. Lampard. This is Shot. 2 runners up front here, and John Terry called upon. And John Terry did awfully well. He shook off Aufhauser, he's found Crouch. Michael Owen goes to the left. Here's Owen, 1 man to beat. Couldn't beat him. Scharner.
Yeah, it's good work by England there. Peter Crouch coming onto the ball, turning, and a slide ball pass to Michael Owen. It was a good effort, but what a tackle by Scharner. His timing to perfection has to be perfectly timed up. He's actually unorthodoxly tackling with the wrong foot, but he's won the ball, and it's a sign for England that, you know, with Michael's pace they can get at them.
Scharner plays his club football in Norway for Brann Bergen. As you say, it was a superbly executed tackle on Owen. They're the one usually to get off the bench and point things out if England are not playing as well as they should. Stransel. Ibbetsberger. This is Lintz. England without Rooney was something that we saw in Euro 2004 when he had the metatarsal injury, and he does bring a spark to it, doesn't he, when he's there? We all know why he's not there today.
That's right, he brings another dimension to the sort of the forward play of England. Breaking from midfield, he's hard to pick up.
Carragher with the header, he's found Cole. Owen is in the centre. Oh, offside flag, far side. Spanish assistant has raised the flag, and this is shot for Austria. Lampard. Forward by Carragher. Owen trying to dart through again. Closely marked once more, this time by Stransel. England throw. Cole. Crouch has got his arm up in the centre. That's where it's going. Headed out by Scharner. Comes to Gerrard. Young in support. Takes on Ivanschitz.
That's better by England. A little bit of momentum now. Let's, hopefully they can capitalise on it.
This is Beckham. Back to Young. It's fallen nicely here for Weissenberger. Had plenty of time to look up and pick a pass, but it's over the head of Joe Cole.
what's encouraging at least is that Joe Cole's getting into some situations where he's one-on-one against the fullback Dober, who's a very inexperienced player. So if they can get the ball to him, I think he can cause them problems. And even though he's right-footed, if he comes inside, he's then got an option with Peter Crouch if he actually pulls off to the far post.
Up to the 20-minute mark here at Old Trafford in this World Cup qualifier. It's Peter Crouch. Terry. There are 6 England players now lined up across the pitch, halfway inside the Austrian half. Up goes Crouch. Just quite away from Young there, who's still well forward for England. Wiesenberger. England win it back, it's Young again. Edna took one in the face there, I think, in that last little flurry. Who plays more as the anchor man. He's found Linz. Steven Gerrard in the tackle in the centre circle. England free kick taken too quickly.
He did well there, Steven Gerrard, got his body in the way of the ball, and he's aggressive in that midfield, and he's showing and leading by example, and I think that if the other players can sort of pick up on the tempo that he's setting, we'll win the ball back in much more dangerous positions.
Owen's dummy. Crouch collects. Oh, and Luke Young is forward here. Macho comes to meet him. And the referee has penalised the England right back.
Yeah, it's a little bit harsh on Luke Young. He's entitled to go for the ball there. It's good work by Peter Crouch and Michael Owen. Good understanding. Great take by Luke Young. And I think it's fair enough. He's got to go for the ball there. The keeper hasn't got it in his hands. You know, he's overrun it slightly, but he's entitled to get into that ball.
Well, Young certainly showing attacking intentions there from the right back position. This is Dover. Cole. Crouch letting it run to Gerrard. Now Owen's in a good position, and Gerrard, it's Owen now. Saved by Macho. Crouch and Beckham both went for the same ball. Oh, Gerrard put Owen into a beautiful position there for England.
Steven Gerrard's really taken the game by the scruff of the neck at the moment. It was a fantastically weighted pass into the path of Michael Owen. With his left foot, it's just taken Michael a bit wide. I thought he might take another touch. Good strike, keeper parries it, and Alfhausen does fantastically again to clear from Beckham.
Yeah, he had Beckham and Crouch closing in for the rebound, didn't he? If you watch here off the goalkeeper, 2 England players go towards the ball, and Alfhausen comes in between them. Here's Schott, halfway through the first half. No score. Signs of life from England in that last attack. Kiesenebner forward for Austria. Jamie Carragher using his right foot and gets a free kick, in fact.
He's a brave man, Jamie Carragher, in the sense that, you know, he's playing out of position, but he's so committed, and he's a very good professional. The fact that he's happy to play there, he's going to make as good a job of it as he can, and I think he'll do well. Certainly his defensive duties, he won't be caught watching.
On by Crouch. Owen again. Oh, does he take that penalty? Penalty to England. Sharner on Owen. It looked inoffensive in a way from here, but the referee had no question about it. The Austrians are furious. They're surrounding the official. It's headed on by Peter Crouch. Sharner right on the edge of the area. Well, what's he giving it for? Holding Owen's arm?
He's got Owen's arm locked into his. You can see there, he's got Owen's arm stuck in there. He's pulling him back. That's what all good professionals do, but tend to do it outside the box. The referee's very clever seeing that, and Michael Owen has made the right sort of gesticulations to get the penalty.
I think that one of the Austrians is going to be yellow carded here for protesting. Frank Lampard will take the penalty. You've probably read by now that David Beckham handed the job over some time ago, and the referee is talking to Schott because 4 or 5 Austrian players, he's obviously booked the main one. 4 or 5 Austrian players there were round the referee. Now Frank Lampard, who takes them for Chelsea, takes on the responsibility for England. And a big responsibility it is here too in this World Cup qualifier. The goalkeeper is Jurgen Macho, who funnily enough used to be at Chelsea. Missed his last 3 for England. Lampard wasn't going to miss that one.
It's a comfortable strike by Frank Lampard there. He's hit it low, hard, and into the corner, sent the goalkeeper the wrong way. It's a great strike. He had a hard penalty, pressure penalty up at Liverpool last week, and he's taken the responsibility and celebrates a good sort of opening goal for England.
The referee, I think, has cautioned another Austrian player on the way back to the centre circle. They're still arguing about the decision. I mean, don't get me wrong, we're all relieved, but would you call that a soft penalty?
Well, it's one of those that it's easy for a referee not to give. I think it's a lot more difficult for him to actually give that sort of penalty, because there's contact there. It's sort of fairly clever play by Shana, the defender, in one sense, because he's sort of denying Michael Owen an opportunity. But to be fair, the ref spotted it. He saw what Michael Owen was trying to do, and he's right, technically right, in giving it.
The 2 players booked, by the way, were Ivancic and Schott, two of their more experienced players, and that means that Ivancic won't play against Northern Ireland in the last game, because it was his second yellow card of the competition. But they were both cautioned in the follow-up to the penalty award, and that means they're obviously treading a fairly narrow line in this game as well now. So, England somewhat relieved, I would say, after an unsteady start. Got better as the half went on, and Frank Lampard showing no sign of nerves when he slotted that penalty in for the opening goal. It's his 9th England goal, Frank Lampard, on his 36th appearance. That's not a bad record for a midfield player, 1 in 4. Here's Ivancic. David Beckham makes the challenge. Free kick to Austria.
I don't think England will be complaining about many free kicks that Austria get in the next 10 minutes.
John Terry to Beckham. That might just relax the team a bit, I think. This is Carragher. Certainly got the crowd going. And Joe Cole lost the ball to Cantalejo, and then he pulled in back. This will be a yellow card for Cole.
Yeah, he'll gladly take that, Joe Cole. Lost the ball in a very dangerous area. Again, I think the pitch, you know, he lets him get too close to him and then starts pulling him back. And you know, he's quite fortunate there not to actually get kicked in the head on the way down.
Stranzel and Shana are forward for Austria. Right on the edge of the area. There as well, but that's going to go over everybody. So the referee's been busy, given a penalty, handed out 3 yellow cards. Medina of Spain, here's the penalty. Oh, I bet they were pleased to see that going on the bench. Goodness me.
Well, let's hope now that the team settles down and starts to find a real sort of pattern of play and momentum to take them on to another goal maybe before half-time.
The last 2 competitive meetings between, or the only 2 between England and Austria, both ended 2-2, funnily enough. Here's Gerrard. He's got Beckham to his right, crouches in the centre in a great position. Oh.
Again, Steven Gerrard driving forward. Fantastic ball into Peter Crouch, but there's just no pace on the cross, and I think Peter was slightly underneath it, couldn't get any power and really affect the goalkeeper.
Here's Schott. Gerrard's on his game just at the moment. Let's hope that continues from the England point of view. Cantalejo. Cross to Stranzel. He's looking for Lintz. There's a flag up here, offside. Chance for Peter Crouch, but as Graham said, he had to really apply the power on the ball himself there. Lampard. This is Cole. Crouch, Owen and Beckham to his right, Dover steps in. Austria have beaten England 4 times altogether over the years, but only once in this country. That was at Wembley in 1965. The Middlesbrough player Pogatetz is suspended. He's not. He's a bit like Wayne Rooney. He's ruled out of this game. And the goalkeeper Paya, the first choice goalkeeper, dropped out with a late injury as well. Crouch here. Was a foul by John Terry on the centre line. So England having far the greater share of the ball as we go past the half-hour mark here at Old Trafford. A few nerves calmed by the penalty. Here's Scharner. Eben Ebner, all Scharner again. Just wonder whether England's goal will make Austria a tad more ambitious, Graham.
Well, I think at the moment they'll be sort of fairly satisfied with the way they've been playing Austria. I mean, they've conceded the penalty, but other than that, they've limited England's chances. So I think as it stands, they'll get to half-time with the way that they're playing. They've got a definite system. And it's more or less working.
Just referring back to Beckham's penalties, there's one against Turkey, one against France, and then of course one in the shootout in the 2004 quarter-final against Portugal. He didn't put any of those away, so it was a while ago, I gather, that he suggested to Frank Lampard that he should assume the responsibility, which he did today with good effect. Here's Cole. Crouch has made a good run into the box, and Beckham's coming in from the far side. Oh, it's away to as far as Gerrard anyway. He appeals for hands, and it's given against Aufhauser. I thought David Beckham was going to latch onto that for a moment, Graham.
Yeah, well played by Joe Cole again. It was an excellent run. Beats his man, beats Dober. It's an excellent ball in with his left foot. David Beckham coming onto it, and he sort of scuffs it back across the box. I think he gets confused between shooting and crossing it.
Well, we've been here before, haven't we? David Beckham at that left-hand end, not far outside the box. This is where the captain rescued England's World Cup ambitions 4 years ago this month. Crouch who's mixing in with the Austrian wall. Hard man to see over, of course, isn't he? It's Beckham into the wall, and it's Beckham again with the fired shot, which is straight at the goalkeeper.
It's a big wall to get round that. With Peter Crouch in it, it is even bigger, but David Beckham did well on the second attempt. It's a good strike, and Jurgen Macho did well, held it quite comfortably. David Beckham here winning his 85th cap today as he moves up the all-time rankings away from Ray Wilkins, who got 84, and one behind Kenny Sansom, who got 86. And he's also in that time scored 16 goals, David Beckham. Austria have a free kick. It's a bit of exercise for the England substitutes, not needed at the moment. It's Vanschitz with the free kick. It's nodded up half away by Campbell. It's his shot. And Keeson Ebner again. My goodness me, he can't half strike them, can't he? That's an excellent strike by Keeson Ebner, just over the bar, and I think I think Paul Robinson had it covered, but Steven Gerrard does well, good defensive tackle, but that's a vicious strike, and quite frankly, if that's on target, I think it goes in.
Yes, he plays for Austria Vienna, scored for them in fact last Sunday, and he has got a reputation for long-range shooting, this Marcus Kiesenebner. It's a little warning to England with nearly 35 minutes gone here. Gerrard's header, but it's not a very good one. Ivancic for Austria, helped on by Weissenberger. John Terry uses his goalkeeper. Cole. Weissenberger. Dober. Looking for Lintz on the far side. Young is the defender.
You can see there are a few warning signs for England. They've just got to make sure they pick up Weissenberger, because he's floating all over the pitch and the ball seems to be attracted to him at the moment. He's just getting in some difficult areas for the back four.
We talked about the 4-year anniversary of the Greece match here. It's 5 years this weekend since the last international at Wembley, when England lost 1-0 to a goal by Dietmar Hamann on a Graham Lasso. I think it's going to give us some first-hand account of that in a minute.
I'll talk you through it if you want.
Quite rightly. Here's Shana. Here comes Beckham to make a challenge. He's already served one suspension in this qualifying group, David Beckham. He wouldn't want to pick up another yellow card. Here's Crouch. John Terry finally with the long ball after some intricate interplay by England. If you weren't with us earlier, just a reminder that Wales won 3-2 in Belfast this afternoon. Their first victory in this group, actually, and somewhat spiked Northern Ireland's current revival. Oh, it's a good through ball that by Lampard to Beckham, and he's got 3 players making ground into the centre. It's away by Shana from Crouch and Owen. I was about to say, if England had got the second goal, they'd have been well on the way to the victory they need. But of course, we must remember Austria came back from 2-0 down in Vienna, didn't they, a year ago? So nothing can be taken for granted for a while yet. This is Terry. On by Crouch. Crouch getting involved in the build-up again, but he's lost out here. Ivancic up against Gerrard, who wins it magnificently. Kiesenebner again. 2 great strikes already. And he's found Schupp. Weissenberger trying to pick out Lintz. Carragher stretching. Sol Campbell will clear things up here for England. Nice header by Crouch to Owen. And David Beckham in space on the right. Oh, what a ball. He's picked out Joe Cole. One wing to the other. Owen near post, Crouch further over, and neither of them able to reach that.
Oh, it's another excellent bit of passing play by England there. David Beckham, great switch pass to Joe Cole. You can see the crossfield pass gives Joe Cole plenty of space. Good first touch. What he wants is one of those players to attack that space where the 6-yard box is. I think if Peter Crouch really has a gamble, he might have been offside if he got on the end of it, but he had to go for that space and he would have scored, I think.
Yes. It's a free kick to Austria. England started slowly, but they have got better as the half has gone on. Of that there is no doubt. This is Dober. Weissenberger. Schopp. And that's going nowhere. Austrian football's got quite a long and distinguished history. They had a wonderful team between the wars, and they came third in the 1954 World Cup, but not so successful since. In fact, they've gone out in the group stages 5 times since then. But they will be joint hosts of the 2008 European Championships with Switzerland. Game's gone a bit quiet again now. Free kick to Austria. Just 5 minutes left in the first half at Old Trafford. Ibertsberger. Ivanchitz. Little flick back by Schopp. This is Dober. Kiesenebner. England have backed off and got plenty of white shirts. Weissenberger behind the ball. Schopp. Oh, and Linz goes in here.
It's good defending by Jamie Carragher again. He got his body in the way. Very dangerous play by Austria. And again, if England sit off them, they're going to pick some passes out and get into some dangerous areas. Then it's down to sort of isolated defending. And Jamie Carragher, like I said, did well there. But it's still a bit of a risk for England. They've got to make sure that they're getting closer to the ball and getting to the ball quicker.
This is Owen. 5 up again in white shirts. Lampard. Beckham let it run. Only as far as Dober, though. Owen threatens to win it back and goes down, hoping for a second penalty maybe, but it won't be given. And instead Austria will break with Ivanchitz and Weissenberger. And there are plenty of red shirts forward in this attack. It's a good thing there that Joe Cole won the ball, and in fact in doing so he's probably going to now enable England to outnumber Austria just for a moment. This is Beckham. Yes, they have. Young's forward, Owen's forward, Crouch is forward, surely. Goalkeeper Macho makes an important save on the edge of his area.
John, just going back to that penalty decision, that was a certain penalty in my eyes. The player's gone for the ball. Michael Owen's used his pace and he's knocked the ball past the guy. The ball's not there and he's fouled him. You can see Dober here. That's a penalty.
That's bang to rights, isn't it? Maybe the referee felt he couldn't give a second one. That's a curious thing to say, but you know, psychologically sometimes it doesn't happen. But Michael Owen again, the man who was brought down. Austria are on the attack now, and Young having to retreat. There was an offside flag up there anyway.
It's amazing, isn't it, with referees? You know, obviously he's put himself under pressure with the first penalty decision. I think he was right to give the first penalty, but that doesn't mean that should affect the next decision that you make. And you can see that Dober's come across him. That Michael Owen's too quick for him. It's a penalty, there's no doubt. And if that costs England, they all hell break loose with the Spanish officials later.
Absolutely. Crouch is up again here. This is Cole. Carragher, can he get it in with his left foot? Well, he can. And Macho comes to meet Crouch and gets a free kick. To Stransel, bringing the ball out of defence. Aufhauser. Wide to Schopp. Just a couple of minutes in the first half now, plus stoppage time. Sol Campbell knocked over by Schopp. That's a free kick. Campbell winning his 66th cap. And down on the Austrian bench, they've got a team of 3, but Willi Ruttensteiner, who is the under-21 coach, actually picked the team with a bit of assistance from Slavko Kavicic, who was Krankel's original deputy, and Andreas Herzog, who I mentioned earlier. That's Beckham. Here's Crouch, and following... flag up for offside. I think it was Michael Owen who was caught, and Austria take the free kick very quickly. This is Schopp. So, a first half that'll be remembered for 2 penalties, one that was given and one that wasn't. Free kick to Austria, and a minute in the half plus the added time. Not a good moment here for the defence to lose their concentration, Graham.
No, and I wonder if Kiesnebner's going to have another strike, albeit from sort of 40 yards this time, but the last two efforts he's had have been not far off.
Spectacular, haven't they? He's put the ball down, yes, that number 8. England forming the 5-man at least, I would think, in the wall. It's a central position. So this is the Austrian version of David Beckham here. Kiesnebner. They've rolled it to him.
Well, thankfully he leant back, and I think he tried to strike that just too hard. He was always leaning back when he struck it. The ball just keeps rising over the box, over the wall, and then over the crossbar.
We're into the last minute now, the 1 minute of added time, and Sir Bobby Charlton there in the picture, and Tord Grip just in front of him, Eriksson's assistant. Ivanschitz. And it's Ibbetsberger making the extra man from left back, but the ball is out.
I certainly think Austria have got a good flow to their sort of passing when they go forward. They seem comfortable going forward. They've got some experienced players with Schopp and Aufhauser and players like that, and up front they can cause problems, so England have to really sort of make sure they concentrate as we come towards the end of the first half.
I thought Sir Trevor Brooking had taken over as manager there. He seemed to be in front of Sven, didn't he? A bit nearer the pitch. Perhaps he still wants to play, you never know.
I'm sure he does still want to play.
Yeah. Here's Joe Cole, and this is Carragher. Added time here, it's Michael Owen, and Crouch to his right in a good position, so is Beckham. And it was Lampard whose effort was miscued, but it was Lampard whose penalty ensured that England go in at half-time with a 1-goal lead here at Old Trafford. It was an uncertain start here, as one might have imagined after the hangover from Belfast, but as the half wore on, England got more confident, using the ball well, opening up the Austrian defence. Perhaps should really have had the second goal on the run of play, but couldn't achieve that. So at half-time, the goal scored by the man who's taken over the penalty responsibility from David Beckham. It's Frank Lampard on 25 minutes. It's England 1, Austria 0.
And there's goals there. There's at least 3 or 4 more goals if they really want it.
Well, let's hope Sven Göran Eriksson echoed those sentiments from Alan Shearer there. Let's rejoin Graham Lasso and John Motson.
Yes, very positive advice from Mr. Shearer, I have to say, and directed quite correctly at a team that need to take advantage of this first game, because my impression, Graham, and I could be proved wrong, is that Poland are a better team than Austria.
They certainly are. Poland are in confident form as well, and they're going to want to prove that they're worthy sort of winners of this group. So Austria effectively have nothing to play for, and we're giving them the opportunity to control the game in the way that they're playing, as the guys have said in the studio. England need to take the game to them, use the home advantage, use the crowd, get everybody, you know, really up for it. We've had a bad month, let's really show what we can do, and we've certainly got the players to do that.
Now Austria are going to make a substitution, because number 15, Sarria, tried to go onto the pitch straight away. He didn't go through the routine of being introduced with the board, and the man who's gone off is Weissenberger, who was wearing number 11 in the first half. So on comes Sarria, who is 26, scored on his debut against Latvia in February, so he's an orthodox striker, and that means they'll probably now play 2-up, I would think, Graham.
Yeah, I think that's probably because they've obviously conceded a goal. They're going to try and be a little bit more progressive in their way, but I think Weissenberger was causing England some problems, albeit in front of the back four. Maybe Sarria will play slightly more orthodox centre-forward role.
OK, so Austria make the first change of the match. Michael Owen there on the ball for England. Just reminding you who the England subs are. Jermaine Defoe and Darren Bent are the 2 out-and-out strikers. Kieran Richardson and Sean Wright-Phillips could come in and play wide, which is what Cole's doing now, and that one swirls across Jurgen Macho's 6-yard box. This is Beckham. Young. Gerrard. Oof, giving that away, and Kiesnebner breaking from midfield. Here's the newcomer, Sarria. Ivanschitz. Kiesnebner just making a bit of room for himself here. England dropping back deep again behind the ball. Aufhauser. And the cross is meant for Lintz, and he's got it down as Lintz. Needed Young to assist Terry there. Peter Crouch the target, so two Austrians going for the same ball. Ivancic. Right to the line, and the near post ball. Two against two up front here. Crouch in pursuit of that long kick from Paul Robinson. Crouch has yet to score this season for his new club Liverpool. To Schopp. And now Ibertsberger. In the second half, it started a bit like the first did, with Austria just pushing the ball around. Now they've got an overlapping player on the far side, who was Dober. Little break on from Schopp there, but half cleared by Campbell. Beckham putting his head down there to try and guide it through. It's gone to Crouch eventually. Michael Owen chasing what looked like a lost cause, but he wasn't that far away at the end. Here's Cole. Lampard. Well collected by Young. He makes headway here, 3 to his left for England, but Ibertsberger just gets in between Young and the ball. Gerrard, Lampard, chance here perhaps. Michael Owen, goalkeeper out and did well.
Well played, midfield there, Steven Gerrard, good ball to Frank Lampard, wonderful turn by Frank Lampard, just rolled with the ball and slides it into Michael Owen. Jürgen Macho deserves some credit, the Austrian goalkeeper came out and closed down the angle very well.
So that extra goal that would equal Gary's competitive record just eludes Michael Owen at the moment. Kiesen Ebner for Austria. Schopp. Two others running up front. This is Sarria, the new player. Schopp. And that's glanced off... well, I was going to say John Terry. The Austrians appeal for a corner, but in fact a goal kick's been given.
Yeah, you can see Frank Lampard, what a touch that is. He's just rolled it and slipped a ball through there to Michael Owen, but Jürgen Macho does well on Michael's first touch. He's outed him straight away, closes the angle down. It's a decent save with his knee.
Yeah, I gave the goalkeeper marks there. On by Crouch. Ivancic. Lintz. Oh, he's got past John Terry. Not much else in the middle for him at the moment. Schopp's trying to come in from the far side. Sol Campbell will just recover on Terry's behalf. Austria have a throw. Ibertsberger. Well, as everybody said in the studio and indeed in the first half, England need to up the tempo here, because the second half has started a tiny bit flat as well. This is Ibertsberger. The other England subs today, incidentally, I mentioned Defoe, Bent, Wright, Phillips and Richardson. Ledley King is on the bench, so is Rio Ferdinand, and of course the number 2 goalkeeper Chris Kirkland. This squad will stay together naturally for the Wednesday night match against Poland here. That's free kick's been given against Crouch. Here's Aufhauser for Austria. To Ibertsberger. Aufhauser again. Little touch on, here he is. linking up Aufhauser, and they're crossed there. Oh, and Sarria came in there on the back post. I'm not so sure he didn't get ahead of John Terry.
That was great covering, defending by Luke Young there. He just got himself in front of Sarria, the substitute. It was a fantastic ball in, and he's done Luke well. Young has done so well, just getting across him and getting his body in the way to stop him getting a shot on goal.
Good covering by the fullback, because the centre-backs were out of it there, and Luke Young's having a good game at right back for England. Position which has so long been the property of Gary Neville when he's fit. So, Austria posing a bit of a threat here. That's too long though for Linz. Back into him by Ibbitsberger. Linz trying to hold off Beckham. Ibbitsberger again. Kiesenebner into Schopp. Little 1-2. And at the moment, Austria have assumed control.
They have. They look confident. They look like they've got something to play for, you know, and they seem to be enjoying themselves, linking up well together, and they're causing England a few problems.
Ivancic to Sarria. Not really emphatically cleared by Campbell, but now Gerrard will have a go. He's got Cole to his left. And now others beginning to join up with Joe Cole. Lampard. As Young's cross towards Crouch. Of course, the main priority for England here obviously is the points and to win the game, but you did hope that they might play themselves into some sort of form that would carry over into Wednesday. That's a foul by Gerrard.
And that's got to be the greater concern, really, in the sense that presuming we win this match is the way that we're playing, and we're not playing well at the moment. We haven't done for some while. The warning signs are there, and obviously between now and Wednesday we've got to have enough momentum to get the points that we need to qualify.
That's Carragher. Beckham. Gerrard to Young. He has shown a capacity to get forward, Luke Young. England throw. Lampard across to Carragher. Cole down that side as well. Kiesenebner for Austria to Sarria. Now Aufhauser with Schopp out on the right beyond Carragher. Linz. Sarria. Oh, he's gone past Terry. And he looked for a free kick, but referee was quick to wave it away. Outstretched foot of John Terry there. Schopp, and Austria are playing pretty well at the moment.
I certainly think that Sarria had a good shout for a free kick there. John Terry was caught coming forwards, and Sarria, the substitute, went past him quite comfortably. The ref chose not to give it again.
Looks very anxious, doesn't he, the coach? Because at the moment, England are not firing on all cylinders by any means. Thought they might be getting that way towards the end of the first half, but it hasn't carried over. Here's Campbell. It's forward by Terry to Crouch. That was Aufhauser who committed the foul. This gives England a platform now in the Austrian half. Gives John Terry the chance to go forward. He's still looking for his first England goal. He's gone up beyond Peter Crouch, John Terry. David Beckham to take. Once the Austrians get 10 yards away. And now Sol Campbell is going up to join the other two. He's scored once for England. But two, of course, that might have been goals in key matches were not allowed. Here comes Campbell. Now Crouch is behind him. Oh. Good effort.
It's a first-class ball in by David Beckham. A lot of curve on it, but there's a bit of height, and it's into an area that Peter Crouch can attack. And he's done well to head the ball back across the box and makes Jürgen Macho save again.
So, cunning little ball by Vivancic. Oh, and Lintz is in there now, and he's got it over Robinson. He's hit the bar. What a let-off for England there. It was Roland Lintz who just deftly lifted that over Robinson, and England here need to settle down.
Well, you can't say the warning signs haven't been here, and with teams like this, if you stand off them, you give them time to pick out passes like that, they're going to get in between you, and Lintz is good enough to use his own ability to lift the ball over the stranded Robinson there. You can't afford to give players at this level that much time and space.
I think it was John Terry who sort of headed the ball slightly goalwards, wasn't it here?
Yeah, John Terry, he's in a position where he's reaching for a ball, and it hits the top of his head.
There's Crouch at the other end, but that was a real warning shot for England. Austria there within inches of drawing level here. And Lintz, who had that marvellous second half against Poland, suddenly makes an impact again. I think the coach down there must have thought, well, oh, David Beckham, yellow card. He's out of the Poland game. Beckham has been booked by the referee, and England will play on Wednesday night without their captain. The second suspension he's had in this qualifying group.
I think the referee has seen it as a raised arm, and obviously he's not looking at who the player is and what his record is. He's looking at an arm across the defender's sort of head. But I mean, there's no real contact, but he's interpreted that way, and you know, that's given him a yellow card.
Well, it's not going England's way here. First of all, Austria hit the bar, and then Beckham, who is now arguing with the referee again, and would be well advised, I would think, not to. Beckham, who you may remember that other nonsense when he was, people have suggested he might have been booked deliberately in a previous game here, but certainly on that occasion. Here's Ibertsberger. Oh, and Beckham's brought him down on the edge of the area, and is this going to be a red card for Beckham? Oh goodness, it's all gone wrong now for England. He's already had a yellow, and the referee, Medina of Spain, has gone to his pocket again. And are we going to see the England captain sent off? We are.
And Johnny hesitated on the first tackle. He had a chance to possibly win the ball, but he hesitated, then he thought he's in a dangerous position, and he sticks a leg out, and unfortunately for David, he's been sent off. Now he's shaking hands with the guy that he got booked in the first place, and it's a frustrating time for him.
Well, there's no doubt what the headlines will be about now. Two offences in very quick succession by David Beckham, and the referee applied the letter of the law each time. What's more worrying for England just at the minute with 10 men is that Austria have a free kick in a dangerous position. Schopp has put the ball down, a cacophony of boos around Old Trafford, but Austria are back in this game in a big way. Owen has taken over the captaincy. This is Schopp. Well, what are we to make of this, Graham? So Beckham, of course, one has to say, sent off once before playing for England. We all know when that was, in the World Cup in '98. And he gets 2 yellow cards here.
Yeah, but the thing is, John, it's so marginal what he does. The guy Itzberger actually dives there. Seeing it on the replay, you can see he gets caught slightly there. There's a foot, and then the next step he's diving. So he's got David Beckham sent off.
Well, we all know it was Simone of Argentina who he was involved with in '98, who made an awful lot of the incident that night with Kim Milton-Nielsen. Now on Beckham's CV is another red, this time from Spanish referee Medina.
Got to have sympathy for David Beckham. The first booking against the same player, incidentally, was a marginal arm up that the player overreacted on.
Here's Young, Owen and Crouch are in the middle. England are playing with 10 men. Whether we wanted the spirit and togetherness, it's now, isn't it? The crowd obviously feel that Beckham was badly done to there.
Certainly, and at least it's created an atmosphere, and as you rightly say, hopefully some togetherness. Looks like, you know, there's going to be a couple of changes now.
Oh yes, I think they'll have to shuffle the pack a little bit, but here's Owen from Crouch's flick. Oh, it's a good challenge by the 19-year-old Dober at right back. And you can just see that. You can just see the headlines now, can't you?
I think there'll be a lot of sympathy for David Beckham under the circumstances. I don't think he particularly deserved to get booked for either challenge. Certainly the second one looked like the left back Itzelsberger actually dived.
Here's Dober. England going to make a substitution any moment. Ledley King is ready. That goes over Campbell's head, comes back off Sarria. What's the referee given here? Goal kick. And the substitution will be made. Joe Cole is being brought off. And there are some angry faces around at the moment. Ledley King will replace Joe Cole. Now Ledley King has played in a midfield position before, obviously, as well as his normal centre-back role for Tottenham Hotspur, so we'll just see, Graham, exactly where he goes.
Yeah, I've got the impression that he's probably going to play a three-man midfield now, with Ledley King playing in the middle of Frank Lampard and Steven Gerrard, so he'll look to maybe sit in front of that back four and just act as a shield, so that then Frank Lampard and Steven Gerrard can shuffle across into wide areas when the Austrians attack down one of those flanks. That's
right, we didn't expect it to be in these circumstances, but there has been a little lobby for Ledley King to play as an anchor man, to give Gerrard and Lampard more room to manoeuvre further forward. That's what they'll have to try and do now. This is Crouch, but in the first place England have got to defend, because Austria had a good spell, hit the bar, and then England were reduced to 10 men. Beckham would have been out of the Poland game anyway, even if he hadn't had the second yellow and the red. And Sol Campbell is limping a bit, I think, over there. You notice that, Graham? You pointed that out.
He just pulled up. Sol Campbell just pulled up. His hamstring, I think, is gone, so to speak. And
oh Lord, what's going to go wrong for England next, Graham?
You can see Ledley King's actually dropped into the back four. Sol Campbell's moved into midfield just to so he doesn't expose.
And here comes Sarria behind John Terry, and at the moment England are disorganised, to say the least. They're all over the place, because they've got Beckham off, they've got Campbell limping, they've got Ledley King wondering exactly where he's playing just at the moment, because he's had to go into the back four, having come on initially in midfield because Campbell is injured. Campbell, who of course has been injured since the end of last season when he was hurt in America, only just come back for Arsenal. Now, was it in that challenge that he got hurt? With Shop.
Yeah, it was as he cleared the ball. I think he slipped slightly as he cleared the ball. He's a big lad as well, so he's going to hurt himself when he does that.
Now then, two substitutions are going to be made. Let's take the England one first. Sol Campbell will come off, and yes, of course, the man to replace him, the man who was dropped, Rio Ferdinand. An obvious switch here by Sven-Göran Eriksson, but the Austrians are also going to bring on a new player. Their number 18, Kuljic, who is another attacker, so they're really going for it now. Shop's coming to the touchline, and he's replaced by Kuljic. So now Austria have put three strikers on up front, or two on to support the man who was already there, I should say, and they're going to play an ambitious 4-3-3. Rio Ferdinand, Graham, then for Campbell.
That's right. I mean, obviously there's quite a lot of talk about Rio Ferdinand being dropped. He's got a perfect opportunity to see how he can react to the situation, and hopefully he can help carry England through to what is going to be a difficult last sort of 20-25 minutes.
Certainly is. Owen looking for Crouch. Well, he talked at half-time optimistically about more goals. It might be that England finish up hanging on in this game. Now Itzelsberger is being roundly booed because of the two episodes with Beckham. Ivanchits. This is Stransel taking the chance to come forward. They've grown in confidence in the second half, Austria, you know.
They have, but what's disappointing for me slightly is the fact that it's taken David Beckham sending off to actually get England to raise the tempo of the performance and look as if they're really rolling their sleeves up and going to dig in and get stuck in.
Yes, we must keep reminding ourselves. Austria have the extra man. Sol Campbell, by the way, it was a hamstring injury which forced him off. So that may mean he misses Wednesday as well, Graham.
He certainly will miss Wednesday, the way he pulled up there.
OK, this is Sarria on the far side for Austria. A lot of changes going on at the moment. Here's Ferdinand. Needs to get into the game quickly, and so does Ledley King here. So England have used 2 substitutes, and I don't think the third one's very far away either. This is Doba. Well, we could be in for a very anxious last 20 minutes here at Old Trafford. Ivanchits, Sarria, and 2 to his right, danger here. He's gone the other way though, and he's found Ibertsberger. And it's come out to Kiesenebner. That's shot number 4 from him.
And that was another close effort. Great technique by Kiesenebner, but again, where Austria have the advantage now with the extra man, they're able to get balls into the box. It can't be marked, and it's a good effort again. Thankfully for England, it's over Paul Robinson's crossbar.
It's a statistic he wouldn't want, but David Beckham is the first man ever to be sent off twice playing for England. That is in fact the 10th red card in their international history, and Beckham's had 2 of them. Up goes Peter Crouch, but he can't find Michael Owen. And with Joe Cole off now, there isn't quite the same width on the left, is there?
There certainly is, and I think it won't be long before we maybe get another striker on up front for England with a bit of pace and just on the opportunity of latching onto a clearance.
Unless he brings Kieran Richardson on to balance on that side. Anyway, we'll see. This is Alfhauser. And it's Doba to Kiesenebner. Austria here, no pressure on them. They weren't expected to perform anything other than adequately here. They're 1 down, but they've got an extra man now, and that's through by Ivanchits, and here's Sarria running in. I think he was offside.
That's good defending there by England. They held their line well. Rio Ferdinand's just come on. He's cold, but he's adapting to the pace of the game quite quickly, and it's a lot of pressure especially for a defender coming off the bench. You know, they're 1-0 up. It's a pressure match, and he's got to deal with that, and I'm sure he's more than capable of doing that.
Yes, it will be Kieran Richardson. Just getting some advice there from Ray Clements, the goalkeeping coach, and Steve McLaren in the front there. So we will have some Manchester United players in this match after all, won't we now? Ferdinand and Richardson. In fact, it was the semi-final of Euro 96 when England last took the field for a competitive match without a Manchester United player. Here's Lintz. It's all very edgy now. The Austrians have handled Peter Crouch pretty well, you know.
They have both Stranzel and Schana are big guys themselves, and I think if anything the delivery up to Peter, it's not always been in the situation where he can really attack the ball.
Kieran Richardson put his top back on, so maybe Sven's having a rethink down there. This is Ivanchits. Gerrard. Oof, I just thought for a moment Lampard would steer that through to Michael Owen, who would have been away. As it is, it's Ibertsberger still getting the bird from the crowd.
Yeah, the difficulty now for Eriksson is who he replaces with who, in terms of, does he bring on someone who can fill a gap in midfield? Does he bring on a striker and maybe take off Peter Crouch and have 2 smaller players but quicker players that might get on, you know, a simple clearance from England and cause Austria some problems?
Just throwing it forward just for a moment, there's also another significance, or there might be, in that Beckham sending off, because FIFA normally decide at the end of the qualifying competition whether cards are going to be held over to the World Cup proper. There's a conceivable situation where he might be suspended from the opening game in the finals in Germany, but they don't normally tell us exactly what's going to happen about the disciplinary affairs until the qualifying competition is over. Now here are the bookings. There's number 1. The left arm round the face of Ibertsberger was why the referee gave Beckham the yellow for that. Here's the second one. That does look very marginal, doesn't it, Graham?
Well, he pulled out of the challenge, David Beckham, and then actually just catches him slightly with his trailing leg. I think as soon as Ibertsberger felt that, he just went down, and David Beckham, you know, gets his second yellow card. He's very harshly done by, and that'd be rough justice if he was to miss, if we do qualify a World Cup game.
Here's Crouch. Now, and that's a free kick, and that's Scharner with the tackle. So, England here, I was going to say hanging on. I mean, they have been for a few minutes. They've got to try and, with 10 men, admittedly, just re-establish superiority in the game.
I think what it relies on now is discipline, and discipline in your position. Players have to really look after their area of the pitch and work hard for each other to fill in the space that's been left by the man that's been sent off. Frank
Lampard will take this free kick for England. They've got plenty in there. Ferdinand is up, Terry. John Terry closing in on the goalkeeper, who had to get a touch to be sure. It's a corner.
It's a decent ball in by Frank Lampard. He's got under it slightly, but he still made Macho make the save.
Now can Frank Lampard take on the corners responsibility like he did the penalty from David Beckham, because he's taking them now. Ledley King trying to reach that. Lampard losing out there for a moment, but he's got the throw now. Well, the 2,000 Austrian supporters are seeing their team perform rather better than many people expected. This is Gerrard. Owen. Foul. He's committed several, Scharner, actually. I'm pretty certain he's due a yellow. But it's... I don't know whether it's Scharner or I think it's Kiesenebner for saying something to the ref, is it? Certainly a yellow card shown anyway. I thought probably Scharner on the adding up process was due one anyway.
Yeah, he's come through the back of Michael Owen there on the tackle. He's partly got the ball, but he's certainly taken a lot of Michael Owen on the way, and given the yellow cards that Paul David Beckham received, that certainly justifies one in the context of what the referee's been doing already.
I'm not so sure it was Scharner who was booked. I think it's Kiesenebner for what he said to the referee when the tackle was committed. Anyway, it's a free kick to England, and it'll be taken by Lampard, who's, well, almost a Freddie Flintoff run-up here. And he still wants the Austrians further back, the referee. So Lampard fires it through the crowd, and the goalkeeper did well because he avoided pushing that into the path of any on-rushing England player.
Excellent strike by Frank Lampard. Beats the wall, and what's difficult for the keeper is it bounces just in front of him, skids off the surface, and that's a decent save by Macho, who manages to push it round the post, not back into the path of an oncoming England player.
Lampard is doing everything at the moment. Corners, free kicks. There's the latest one. Crouch is climbing far post. Goal kick. As of this moment, it's a fairly scratchy England performance. They're still leading 1-0, but they've only got 10 men. And it could be an awkward last 15 minutes. And it could be a difficult Wednesday night as well, I might say. There's one man who knows what it's like to be under the microscope as England manager. Sir Bobby Robson there, very thoughtful. This is Aufhauser. Ivanschitz. Ibertsberger. Got 15 minutes left here now. England needing to... oh, Lampard's given it away. I was about to say stay focused, but this is Ledley King to Owen. Well played by Crouch. King. Gerrard joining the attack. Lampard. don't suppose Beckham's allowed to come out and sit on the sideline, is he, having been sent off?
No, he'll be watching it in the dressing room, and so he'll be, even more frustrated now at the injustice of being sent off under those circumstances, and the fact that he's got to sit in a dressing room by himself probably and watch it. It's adds to the punishment, really.
Well, England will be hoping that they don't get punished in his absence, that's for sure. This is Crouch. Well, it would have been, but Shana just got in front of him. Well, there's no doubt who the crowd think the culprit is. It's number 5, Andreas Ibertsberger, 23 years old. Lintz making a forward run, and he's got 2 other strikers up there with him now, don't forget. Kuljic, who came on last, has got a bit of a reputation as a useful sub. This is Ibertsberger again. And still...
Well, he's certainly not shy. He still wants to get the ball. He's still prepared to take people on and have a shot. And I think, if anything, he's probably will rue what he did after the match as opposed to during it.
Yes, probably. How did you find playing against Beckham?
In respect that he's one of these people, David, where he is, once he gets something in his head, he's very aggressive. So after he got the first booking, he actually made a foul straight after that, and it was the way he went to the ball, much like I've been booked for in my career. You're so enthusiastic and wound up. It's not so much what you're doing; it's the sort of how the referee perceives that. So he sort of fouled straight afterwards, and then the third one is in with another couple of minutes. So it's almost giving the referee the impression that what you're doing is worse than what you actually, what the actual thing is you are doing.
Yes, he was. What you're saying is he was so irritated by the first one that it influenced the way he then played for the next 5 minutes.
Certainly.
Okay, Austria have the ball. It's Dober on the far side, and he's looking for Ivancic on this side. Luke Young fully stretched. It's one of the better games, I think, among the England ranks today. To Stranzel. Oh, and the header back in could have found Lintz. Instead, it's Aufhauser from distance to fire one. Hit Rio Ferdinand. But Shana was ahead of Crouch. Kuljic. That was really dug out there by Steven Gerrard. Stranzel. Here's Ivancic. And it's curled in by Ibertsberger, and Paul Robinson called on there to come out and make a clean catch.
Just get the impression that down the left-hand side, both Ibertsberger and Ivancic are working well together now, and they're getting into some quite dangerous crossing areas. Fortunately for England, Paul Robinson's very comfortable in the air, looks in control in those situations, and made a very calm and collective sort of catch.
The England formation now is 4-3-2, and here's Kuljic for Austria. Ledley King playing in between Gerrard and Lampard in midfield. Rio Ferdinand on at the back for Campbell. Still Crouch and Owen, who's now the captain, playing up front. This is Ivancic. And it's Stranzel. The Austrians want to make they're going to take Ibertsberger off, the fellow who had the scrap with Beckham. He's being replaced by Lasnik. This is a young player who's not 22 until next month. He's been given his debut here. Andreas Lasnik plays for Austria Vienna, and it's his first cap. He's come onto the left-hand side, and in the meantime we are going to see Kieran Richardson, and it looks as though we're going to change the captain again because Michael Owen's going off. So we've now got our third captain of the game, Steven Gerrard.
I have to say I'm surprised about that. Obviously I know Peter Crouch very well, and without disrespecting him, I think if anyone should come off, it's probably him, because I think you need the pace, and it's a sort of get out of jail card having pace up front when you've only got 10 men. Now what we've got to do is hit extremely accurate balls to a lone striker that doesn't have the propensity of pace. So it's a strange decision. I can understand bringing Richardson on, but not maybe bringing Owen off.
No, and without being disrespectful to the coach, Eriksen's substitutions I do find puzzling at times. Anyway, here's it's going to be Lampard, but he's been beaten by Kuljic. And Austria are making headway here, and it's looking a little bit ominous for England just at the moment. Complete reshuffle of the team, but here's Crouch. Richardson's gone over to the left-hand side, and on the right-hand side here it's Young. Another very good run by the fullback. Yes, well, Richardson is taken up the sort of Joe Cole position, hasn't he, over on the left?
Yeah, that makes sense, because what was happening to England, because they were playing three in midfield, the Austrians were able to switch play from right to left before the England midfield could get across the pitch.
I must say, I never thought this game was as straightforward as a lot of people were saying, and it's proved that way too. England still with that slender advantage, and a penalty at that. Here's Lasnik. Ivancic. Richardson needs to get back a bit here and help Jamie Carragher, because that cross could cause trouble. It's away by John Terry. Ivancic forward. Well, Wayne Rooney will be available on Wednesday, and on this evidence England certainly need him. Let's hope his mood is as cheerful as it looks there. Here's Crouch. It's a very sort of scrappy kind of game now from England's point of view. The Austrians are playing most of the football. Kiesenebner. Oh, the flag's gone up. Now the referee wasn't going to give that free kick. The Spanish assistant on the far side raised his flag and persuaded him to do so, and that's brought the whole game back onto England's defence. Ivancic is going to try his luck from long range. Well, he scored the late goal in Vienna when he beat David James to make it 2-2. He was trying there to beat Paul Robinson and make it 1-1.
They're certainly not frightened of having a long-range speculative effort, are they, John?
They're not, and 65,000 people inside Old Trafford this afternoon, 63,000 of them England supporters. And by Old Trafford standards, it hasn't actually... The crowd haven't really been, at their loudest, have they?
No, the game has never really got going, John, I don't think. And we've noticed it and made reference to it in the first 5-10 minutes of the match. And you need to start the game properly, get the crowd behind you. It's up to the players to do that.
Lady there biting her nails. I think if Graham Masseau and I hadn't got a microphone in our hand, we'd be doing the same. 5 minutes to go, and it's by no means certain.
Mine still haven't grown back from the Northern Ireland game, John.
No, good point. I thought you were still wringing your hands after the second half in Denmark, actually. Anyway, worrying times for the England team. Here comes Schärner now for Austria. Stranzel. We're into the last 5 minutes, plus any stoppage time that the referee deems applicable, and Austria have got the hold on the match now a little bit, because they're forcing England back again. Ledley King trying to stem the tide there. That was Sarria. All three subs on. Oh, here comes Robinson to meet another one of them, and it's come out to Lasnik. and Ivancic to shoot. That was a very good block by Steven Gerrard, falling in front of him, the man who's assumed the captaincy.
That's just what you need to see from the new captain. But he's played well all game, I think, Steven Gerrard. He's led by example. He's shown a physical side to his game, which I think has really helped England today. And it's important now that the guys just dig in, follow their runners, work hard for each other and grind this result out.
Ivancic in towards Kuljic. John Terry on the back of Linz. Fired away by Rio Ferdinand, but back just as quick from Schana. Here's Dober. Austrians have got 3 men permanently stationed on the edge of the England penalty area. This is Kiesenebner steering it into Linz. Now Aufhauser to Ivancic. It's a corner. Caught Gerrard, managed it, left his foot. Now then, are England going to be able to hold out here? Because that's basically what we're asking them to do. 10 men. Corner to be taken on the far side by Andreas Lasnik, who's just come on. Stransel is in there, so is Schana. Robinson, he didn't seem inclined to catch that, did he?
He didn't. I think he went to punch it, got underneath it slightly, but did enough just to clear the ball away from the dangerous area.
Look how deep England are defending here. Kiesenebner curls the ball in again. They're asking for trouble here, and there's the header by Schana, dropping wide.
I think John Terry's taken a bit of time out to try and get his teammates a bit of time just to get themselves into a position where they can defend slightly higher up the pitch. And it's just a case, as I've said, is they've got to work hard for each other. They've got to make sure they concentrate as they're getting tired now and just grind out this result.
Yes, they're going to scramble a 1-0 win at best here in England now, I think. Of course, that doesn't alter the fact that it's 3 points, and it means that victory over Poland would ensure that they won the group, but the performance will again be under examination. That's on by Crouch. Referee's going to play 3 minutes of overtime, so in actual fact this game has still got 5 minutes to run, and they're going to be nervy ones for England. This is Stransel. Schana. Ferdinand moved across to cut that out.
He's done well, Rio Ferdinand, since he's been on. I think he's shown that that the fact that he didn't start the game hasn't affected him at all. And if anything, he's talking more. He looks more alert than he has done in his recent games.
If we had more time, Graham, I'd ask you just exactly what's happened to the England team. We started this season so full of optimism about the World Cup, talking about winning it even, and yet we've had 3 performances that, for different reasons, just seem to have confused everybody, including the team itself. Anyway,
doesn't seem to be that unity.
Dober. He's forced another corner. We're in the 90th minute at Old Trafford, and Andreas Lasnik has gone across to take the corner. They're packing them in there, and the flick on troubles England. It was away by Carragher in the end. Here comes the Austrian goalkeeper Macho to join in. He's given it to Kiesenebner. If Crouch could just get... his touch had been a bit better there, he would have been away, but everybody is just sandwiched back in the England half. This is Stransel. Both the centre-backs for Austria are playing up front virtually now. So 3 extra minutes for England to, well, survive is I suppose the only word you can use now. They've got a free kick down here though. Crouch was impeded, and the referee's come across and told Steve McLaren to calm down. Well, I want to use up a bit of time here. Gary Lewin checking his watch. Oh, Eriksen's getting a little excited here. No, not really. There goes Crouch. Oh, chance here. Frank Lampard, can he? No, he can't. It's a good save by Macho, who's actually had a good game. Well, that would have sealed it from Frank Lampard.
Yeah, Frank set up by Peter Crouch, thought about shooting first time, then hits one with his left foot. Another good save by Macho, who, as you rightly say, has had a good match.
Well, England have a corner. They'll be in no hurry to take it. Steven Gerrard has come across to the flag, so has Kieran Richardson. Macho made the save from Frank Lampard. And I wouldn't think the centre-backs will be going forward at this stage of the game. John Terry and Rio Ferdinand are staying where they are. Corner's been taken short. It's Richardson. Well, what on earth is that? Anyway, Carragher got there and so did King. And Richardson now finds Gerrard and Crouch makes his way into the centre, but Gerrard's cross has gone harmlessly behind the goal. The goalkeeper went to the ball boy and took another ball instantly and got Austria back in the game here with Stranzel. 1 minute left of the overtime. England 1, Austria 0. Young battling away there with... Oh, it's a good cross to... Oh, and John Terry. Goodness me. It was Sarriard that bothered Young, and then Lasnik got involved, and Austria have got a corner in the last minute. And England are just hanging on desperately, hoping for the final whistle with 10 men. Ivancic has gone across to take it. Come on, England, the crowd is shouting, almost in desperation. Stranzel is forward. Shana's coming in, good header. Rio Ferdinand. But Dover then high and wide. I think they're almost there, Graham.
They're almost there. It's a difficult few minutes for England. As Austria use the flanks well, they get behind the England team. And a great bit of defending by John Terry. Read the situation well, blocked the space at the near post and made a good clearance. Fortunately, from the corner, Rio Ferdinand used his height and strength to clear the ball again.
Well, the England supporters loyal to the last. The band is still playing. But I think it's a bit of an uncertain rhythm. Well, there it is. Let's deal with the straightforward facts. England win by 1-0. They take 3 points. That means if Holland were to beat the Czech Republic in Prague tonight, Eriksen's team are automatic qualifiers for the World Cup finals. If Holland don't win, it all moves on to Wednesday and England versus Poland here. But this match will be remembered... Oof, puff the cheeks out. This match will be remembered for the double yellow card, or the second England sending off of David Beckham. It'll be remembered for the penalty from which Frank Lampard scored, and the fact that England might have had another one soon afterwards. But it'll be remembered as a day when Austria played above themselves and when England really didn't produce the performance that everybody was looking for. They did produce the result though, only just. It's England 1, Austria 0.